Hey everyone, Jared here. And what you're about to see is a little bit different than what we normally put out. I recently put together a group of people to just run a one shot for, and there was some interest in recording it, and I said, hey, why not? Well, the game turned out to be incredible. The players that joined me, were really bought into the world and very excited to play, and just overall great D&D players. And we figured, why not put it out there for others to enjoy? So I don't really have much in terms of intros or editing. Most of this is just going to be a screen capture, and again, not perfect in any way. But I think that if you stick around, you're going to fall in love with these characters as well. And if you do, let us know. Maybe we'll do something in the future. And hey, if you're interested in joining a one shot ran by myself, then let me know. And I'm be more than happy to do more of this community stuff. So I think it's a great way to meet the people who listen to the show, or maybe I've just interacted with through Twitter, Reddit, YouTube comments, and the like. So without further ado, the Halt of Glymrock Mines. You all have been tasked by the esteemed wizard Cassius Flounce to go to the Glymrock Mines and pick up a gem only found there, called the Heart of Ernu. Commonly, this gem is used for the rich to show their wealth, but you've heard rumors that wizards can use them for earth magic rituals. Before, it seemed fictitious, but the request has put a seed of doubt into your head. We come in as you're climbing along a barely worn mountain pass. The summer heat has melted away any of the snow at this height, but the wind that's been pushing against you is a reminder just how high up you are. As you looked over, the exact distance is obscured by the clouds that you passed a few hours ago. Who would be leading this climb? And you can be the first to introduce yourself.
Well, that might be me, as the ranger of the pack. Those I consider my friends call me Tulmak. Those I don't consider my friends call me Mr. Grinderson. Those I consider my prey, well, they scream out bone grinder in their nightmares.
Ooh, and what does this bone grinder look like? Do you have a brief description?
Bone grinder Tulmak is a half-orc, a good 6'5" tall, 200 pounds of bulky person. Well-worn clothing in various earth tones. Not bad quality, but clearly they've been on the road for a while. Jet black, medium length hair, sort of tied up into a bun of swords on the back of the head, sort of loosely like strands escaping every which way. And otherwise bristling with various weapons. There's a longbow strapped across the back, a battle axe hanging from a belt. There's a shield, and carries a large halberd, which they at this point are also using sort of as a walking stick, hiking stick of sorts. Most of the time, distrustful glances to the left and right. Not a bad mood, per se, but not exactly a cheery disposition either.
All right. Well, then let's hear next. I'll go in clockwise here. So let's start with Core.
Well, my friends, I'm Corteliath. I am a servant of Selphine, the goddess. Is it the god or the goddess?
Goddess.
Goddess is the. I'm a servant of the goddess of air. I am a somewhat tall elf, not quite as tall as our ranger friend here, but definitely he stands a good, half a foot taller than I am. You often see him brush his hand through his kind of his honey blonde hair. His tawny eyes dart left and right. And just has this little soul patch of a goatee he's spent the last 50 years kind of growing. Because, elves, they take a long time to get some decent facial hair. And he's quite proud of it. He's usually found in dark jewel tones of purples and blues, with a kind of a steady gait. He sips from his flask a lot when you have a particular fancy of a particular wine. He usually has it on him for some reason. He also has a bandolier of many little vials and poultices and packs full of salves that he can use to help in any occasion, as well as the amulet of Sophia that hangs about his neck.
All right, thank you. And next, Crowley.
Sorry, I briefly forgot how to speak there.
Sorry, we won't be doing much of that tonight.
Crowley is Nat's wing off of 6 feet tall, thinning a little bit on top, clean shaven, and has, based on his complexion, he's not quite seen enough sunlight. He's dressed in a faintly priestly robe of a very, very, very dark, some exotic material, fancy, a little too flamboyant for an adventure. But, it seems to hold up okay. He, if pressed, will tell you that he seeks adventure and knowledge, and that is his guiding star. There's not a lot else to say.
All right.
There's something a little wrong you can't quite put your finger on. And he's followed by a very, very faint smell of petrichor. Earth after.
All right. Thank you so much. And Dane, last but not least.
Dane is probably one of the older looking dwarves that anyone has seen. Like, he's very, visibly, in the later years of his life, more so than an average dwarf would be in general. He has pretty simple looking arm on him. I mean, it is very standard dwarven plate mail, very, polygonal designs, hard edges, that sort of thing. That's kind of stout, close to the ground. His backpack just has a ton of little patchwork patches on it. You can see that each one has way too many compartments on the actual backpack itself. And he is fairly quiet. If it's not much noise going on, you probably hear things just jangling around in his backpack a little bit. He has a pretty serious expression. He's got a sort of mostly bald head with the standard very long kind of beard. Just 2 braids in the front of his beard. Very gray hair at this point. And he's not going to be one that typically starts a conversation, but he still has an odd air of not being necessarily a loner, despite how quiet he stays. And he seems to be very contemplative. He doesn't look around quite as much, but he seems to be kind of aware of his surroundings and the people around him without paying excess attention to them. And the probably most standout thing is that he has a patchwork scarf that's made out of looks like a bunch of different scraps of clothing that he kind of wears around his neck.
All right. Thank you all so much. This is a crew we got here.
Jared?
Yes.
I would like to ask if my starting infusions for today, I would like an alchemy jug and a, let me just look at and then I'm going to also infuse, I'm also going to infuse a enhanced defense item for our ranger friend.
Okay. So I believe that should just be a +1 to the AC of Tolmach.
That's +1 AC to Tolmach.
All right.
And then I have the alchemy jug because that's where my wine is.
Of course. All right. Well, Tolmach, since you are leading everybody on this trek up the mountain, how about you roll me a survival check? Unless you have favored terrains, I didn't see your character sheet.
I used the replacement, the alternative.
That's probably for the best. Okay, good.
Wise.
Survival. That's a 9.
9. All right. You spend the better part of the morning going through these twisted paths, making your way over rocks, and after a while you realize you have no idea where you're at. The rest of the group still following you doesn't seem to have picked up on this, but you realize that you'll need to course correct, and you've probably added a little extra time to the day here. Everybody gets a level of exhaustion to start things off. Yeah, we're starting brutal.
These mountains are rough.
Okay, Cortel is obviously kind of winded. He is rather robustly healthy looking, but he's a little spindly. So he is definitely kind of huffing and puffing, considering that he's still decked out in full chainmail and he's got his backpack and all of his kit. He's like, I hope you don't mind, lads. I could definitely use a wee little nip. Anybody want to share?
Sure.
Oh, there's never a bad time for a drink, my friend.
Pours out some wine in everybody's cup that wants some.
And not that I'm going to particularly keep track of this, but do you remember how much wine you can make in a day?
8 gallons!
That's about what I thought. Yeah, so
No, it's 8 gallons of water, 1 gallon of wine.
Okay. All right, so...
But still, that's still 4 bottles. That's 4 750 ml bottles.
Yeah.
So...
Cortel's basically just carrying around, like, multiple, like, double arming box wine at all times.
In a wee little flask.
Yes.
I'm safe to assume as well that this is the kind of wine that blows your face clean off.
It's not quite, it is more of an elven style wine, so it's kind of a little cloyingly sweet. It's made with like some ice grapes. But it'll do in a pinch.
All right.
I'll pass. I've got to keep my head clear. Do I still have a general sense, though, in which direction we need to go?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Took the wrong turn.
Yep, took the wrong turn, added a little extra time, and everybody's feeling a little bit winded because of it. But after...
I'll keep that to myself.
Yeah, that's fine. That's really what I was trying to get out of it, was will you tell your group, or are you keeping that to yourself? So after a little bit longer than you all originally anticipated, the sun is beginning to set on the mountains here, and you see... gonna keep getting the names off. Tolmach, you see up ahead a crossroads, and you know at this point exactly where you are and where you're supposed to go. And you turn north, knowing that your destination is quite close. Seeing smoke, you know you've arrived. As the lush mountain foliage turns to a pounded path, you hear the sound of yelling, hammers clanging, and as you round a bend, you begin to see dozens of dwarven folk standing near the outskirts of a giant hole in the mountain. The hole is maybe 40 feet high and 100 feet wide, and to the sides of it, there is a giant stone door with mechanisms to keep it open. You see one dwarf saddled atop a giant spider with straps around its hinds as it's dragging a cart of stone out of the mine. To the west, you see a port with ships using the steeders to load up cargo. The lake here looks more like an ocean as you look out from near the docks and see nothing but miles and miles of water atop this giant mountain you're on. This, you would all know, is very well known within the region, is Ossek's Bounty. It is basically just a giant crater in the middle of these mountains filled with water, like a great lake at the top of a mountain. A friendly-looking dwarf sees you all coming down the path, he looks middle-aged, and stops his work directing cargo and waves you over. As you begin to approach, he says, "You lot aren't from around here, are you? Name's Herond. Pleasure to meet you. What brings you around these parts?"
Well, we're seem to be... Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted. You're in front, you can talk first.
Have I been here before, by the way, or is this my first?
This would be all of your first time here. I'd say it's not the type of place you would just take a summer vacation to.
We've been sent on an errand, I believe. Somebody remember?
Yeah, that was the wizard Flounce that asked us to come out this way.
As you now get closer to this dwarf, you can see he has these deep silvered eyes and tangled black and gray hair pulled together in a messy braid. He's missing a finger on his left hand. The scar makes you think it was probably in a mining accident. But despite any other deformities, he carries a friendly smile on his face. Oh, what type of errand?
Would you believe he sent us looking for magic rocks?
I could believe such a thing, but gotta admit that's a little poor timing.
Why would you say that, Heron?
Oh, I guess you've all been traveling, probably haven't heard. Mine's closed. Yeah, there's some business going on. Things have just shut down, so I don't know if they'll be able to get you much.
You've got nothing in store.
That's not the type of material we just keep on hand.
What caused it to shut down?
No one's really sure exactly what's going on, but they say it'll be weeks until it sorts out, so don't know if you all want to stay or just turn right back around.
Well, are you the mine master here, or is there someone that had the decision? I mean, who made the decision to shut the mine down?
Oh, that'd be Dursel.
Dursel.
Yeah. I mean, if you're all the motivated sort, I'm sure I could make some introductions.
I'd like
Please
to meet
do.
him.
All right, yeah, sure. Just follow me this way.
Before you go, would you like to share a wee nip?
Well, my shift's not over for another 6 hours, so of course.
Just a wee. Oh, there you go. I pour a little bit of wine into a cup for him.
He takes a drink, goes, maybe another round there. That elven stuff just doesn't hit the same.
Well, it's fine for me, but I can see that a man of your stature and your importance, and as well as yourself, that it might be a little bit of a lightweight type of drink. It's more to clean the palate and clean the mouth when you've got all the dust in it.
Not that you're specifically trying to get anything, but roll me a persuasion check.
Sure.
First
Let's
roll of the
see,
night. Let's see.
That would be a 25.
Wow.
Jared.
Okay.
I have a 19. I rolled a 19. I have +6 in persuasion.
Nice. Well, he just kind of looks you up and down and goes, you sure know how to butter up a person you just met? Well, thank you very much for this, and please, right this way. And he just begins walking you towards the basically the giant hole at the south side of the mine. Did I get that right? No, it'd be east side. As he approaches, or as you all approach and get into the mouth of the cave, it opens up even wider. You see more of the steeders around the town here pulling rocks around. Some of the rocks even appear to glimmer against the torchlight that is, quite soon as you step in, the only thing illuminating this dark cavern. Voices echo off the walls, making it difficult to tell just how many people are here, but you guess it's probably in the thousands. It seems impossible given how hidden this place felt just a moment ago, but now before you is a sprawling city with stone buildings carved directly from the earth. You see mine carts and rails all around the city, with dwarves jumping in and riding them around all over the buildings and through the town, some filled with food, others supply, but most people. Heron leads you to a cart and kind of smacks one of them and goes, I assume by the looks of you, most of you never rode one of these before. Maybe
This
you
would be
there.
First time for me. Quick, just interjection. Who can see really well besides me right now?
Oh yeah, dark vision all around.
Dark
Yeah.
vision. Okay, who can see? Okay, how would you like to see it even better than you can now?
Oh, Twilight Clerics.
In the top 120 feet, I'll take it.
It's 300 feet. You can see the curvature of the earth.
All right,
No flat earthers in our group.
all right. So if you'd like to see a little even better than you can now, here, pulls out a little bit of a vial that has like a dropper in it. And here, this may feel a little awkward, but I'm going to drop these in your eye. And for the next hour, you're going to see out in the darkness further than you ever have before.
All right, and everyone's good with that?
Yep.
Why the hell not?
Let's see. That it would be the that would be the Eyes of the Night. I could share it with up to 3 willing creatures that I can see within 10 feet of me for lasting for 1 hour.
Okay.
Once I share it, I can't do it again until I finish a long rest, or I expend a spell slot of any level to do it again.
All right, sounds good. So as you go around and place these droppers in everyone's eyes, you all like, kind of get that blurry vision from immediately having liquid pour over your eyeballs, which is probably not a familiar sensation to most of these adventurers. Maybe, I don't know.
Like hiking in the rain.
Yeah. But once the liquid kind of clears and rolls around the old eyeballs, you blink once or twice and then just see throughout this cavern where before it was a little dim and difficult to make out, even 15, 20, maybe for some of you 120 feet out. Now you're seeing to the ends of the cavern. You can see almost over the entire city as if it was perfect daylight. Except for, it's a gray hue, so.
Impressive. What do you call this? Everclear?
What'd you say there, Toolback?
What do you call this?
I call this, I actually don't have a name for it. I was thinking, maybe I'll come up with something by the end of the journey, but, right now I'm just gonna call it Izine?
We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop it. That sounds like a great plan.
Good with the potions, not so good with the names.
Yeah, as long as they're effective, then, marketing is another thing entirely.
And then they went on to sell this mythical product and ignore the adventure.
We abandon the whole thing and just open a pharmacy.
To give a quick little rundown here, and he points into the minecart, should fit about 2 of you, and it's real simple. You want to tap on this rune to go, and you want to tap on that one to stop, and if you're in real big trouble, you hit that one, pointing towards like basically a big red button that's like off to the side, not near these other 2 that were originally pointed out. And that one's really only if you're in an emergency. If you use that without any actual need, then there may be some consequences. But
So that one's go, that one's stop,
Mhm.
that one's really stop, and cause a traffic jam that will last 3 days.
yeah,
All right, so we will not touch that one.
unless you have to, it's there for a reason. All right, well, if you'd like to hop on in.
I will travel with Crowley.
All
All
right.
right. I'm very happy with that,
Just-
so long as you're fine to drive.
Yeah, it's on a track, so it can't go too wrong.
Says taking another sip of your wine.
Dan, let's let them go ahead, and we follow. Have you
Aye.
driven one of these before? No. Am I stereotyping you? Sorry.
No, it's understandable. I've got a good deal with a number of things, but not much been in the actual mine.
All right. So as the first 2 of you, what is Cortel? Is that what you're going by? The shorthand?
Well, that's the shorthand name because everybody kind of mushes together my name, so it's usually the people usually hear Cortel Riath instead of Cortel Riath.
Cortel.
Yeah, Cortel.
Well, Cortel and Crowley, the 2 of you get into the first cart here, and
Quick question for
Yes.
a second for Mr. Harrend. when do we stop to get to Duracell?
I'm sure you'll figure it out. And he reaches in and smacks the go button.
Thank you.
Light blurs as you get pulled along the rails, and the two of you, Tolmok and Dane, just see your friends just go at a breakneck speed. And do you want to hop in immediately, or are you just going to wait to see if they... anything?
I think Dan would just hop on in. Doesn't have any worry.
Should we maybe wait a moment?
Yeah, if you want to, we can.
What's the accident rate with this?
Oh, it's been quite low ever since we installed the button.
So user error mostly?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, it stays on the rail as long as you don't push back and forth too much. Lean into the turns, that's probably a good idea. And overall, if you see something about to hit your head, duck.
Yeah, Dan, I think you should really drive this. Tolmok gets in the back of the cart and what's on the ground.
And it's not made for someone your size. So as much as you try and squat down, it is very much like up to your elbows, and you are like trying to tuck in, but it's, yeah.
Okay.
Up as a size for me, I am an actual dwarf, so
Yep.
it's just the right size.
Yep, perfect for you. All right, and you both take off as well. And as all of you begin to ascend, or I guess descend, whatever, move down these rails and feel yourselves just being pulled back with G-forces that you have likely never experienced before, the sounds of the city are impossible to pinpoint as you feel just the pull, and different scents of the city rise up as you pass over a smithy and smell the putrid burning of coal, then the sweet scents of a bakery, then begin to hear laughter that you think is coming from a bar, and smell an odd, mossy stench while you pass over it. You see, up ahead, what looks like the end of the rail, and that would be on you, Cortel, as you are driving the one in front here. Do you want to stop yourself? Okay, probably a good idea.
I'd rather, hitting the brakes is always a good plan, because, it's not the fall that'll kill you.
Just imagine you're saying this to Crowley, like, while you're turning around, like, not looking forward. As you hit what you were instructed as the stop button, you feel the cart come to a very quick stop. It doesn't slowly coast and make its way gently. It just comes to an immediate halt. Luckily, there was enough lead time that the two of you, Tolmok and Dane, see the cart stopping in front of you. And I assume you also would like to stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to take away player agency, but... Great. So all of you come to a stop a little bit further ahead than where you were kind of expecting, and you kind of put that in the back of your mind that, like, okay, these stop on a dime. And you see up ahead a female dwarf with a miner's cap speaking to a group of workers. You can't make out specifics, but she seems quite frustrated. Her brown hair is cut jaggedly and amateurishly, hiding a pair of hazel eyes. Her clothing looks plain, but you can tell by her demeanor that she commands respect here. But if you just saw her on the street, you'd probably assume she was a beggar. She looks to the four of you and kind of stops what she was saying, and who the fuck are you all?
Well, it's a very fine morning to you as well. I am Cortel Riath, and you've just heard Dane introduce himself and Crowley introduce himself, and our tall friend back in the back is Tolmok, and we're here to help.
Help with what? I didn't hire you.
Not yet.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna...
Get into the mines.
Ah, see, now we get information. I don't have much time to just delay with trying to make pleasantries. I've got things that need done, and as I'm sure you've heard, the mine is closed, and that's why you're here. You're here because the mine is closed. You need access to the
Okay, I'll
mine.
make this for you as swiftly as possible. You give us access to the mine, we're going to go into the mine, we're going to clear up the problems, retrieve the goods that we came to collect, and then we'll be out of your way. Sound good?
That sounds like a All right, idea, but I've already sent a team down, and I would like for my people to do what they're trained to do before I send some random adventurers down.
That is a fair response. Oh, I'm afraid we have not been properly introduced. I introduced myself as Cortellin. Who might you be, ma'am?
Name's Dursel.
Dursel.
Yes?
We were told to meet you by Herond up at the top.
Ah, that's shithead. Well, yes, I'm the mine operator. Look,
Excellent.
I appreciate you all coming, as far as you probably have, but how about you'll all look exhausted. You go take a night's rest at the inn, and if my men don't come back up by tomorrow morning, then I'll consider hiring you on. Now tell me, what did you need access to the mines for?
I believe that my friend Crowley here told you exactly why we needed access to the mines.
Did you specifically say?
I didn't specify what. No.
But it was a good genre. It was a good, big brush stroke, bullet point kind of presentation.
No, I'm asking for details.
Ah,
Presume were one to visit a bakery, one might go in search of pastry or bread. What would you expect we might want from a mine?
Rocks.
Bingo.
Is there any rock in particular you're looking for?
actually, there is the Heart of Enu that we were tasked to bring by our employer.
Ah, Heart of Ernu. All right. Yeah, that'll be tough to get unless the mines are open. Yeah, you all just go rest up for the night and come by tomorrow. If things don't sort themselves out, then we'll talk business.
At this point, I hold up a little a coin behind me, and I have used my magical tinkering on it to spell out. She seems a bit stressed.
And what is it?
And then just put it away. Magical tinkering. I can. I could imbue a tiny and non-magical object with 5-foot light, 6-second long recorded message. I can emit an odor or a non-verbal sound or a static visual effect, including 25 words of text.
Right. Okay. So you can just repeat that later with your coin. Perfect. And Tolmak, what were you going to say?
Colonel, is it? I'm sorry.
Dursel.
Dursel. I apologize.
Like the battery.
I've got... What?
The battering ram. There's a battering ram. They're the Dursel battering rams. It's a family
Dursel
line.
Company. Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard amazing battering rams. Last for forever. I've got 2 questions. How long since you sent your people down there?
It's been a day and a half.
How far? When were you expecting them back?
About a day ago.
Okay.
I'll admit I'm getting a little nervous.
You said you are the manager here. Do you know why the mine shut down?
Well, because I ordered it. But to be a little more specific, there were some strange going-ons. Started off with things disappearing. Started off getting a little more serious than that.
Things?
Equipment was disappearing. Mine carts would be taken away while people were down in the mines, and they would need to find other transportation up. And things got a little bit more serious when there were an increase in cave-ins recently, and I deemed it was unsafe until we figured out what was causing this mischief to continue.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions I can answer before I get back to work?
Which way is the inn?
Ah, yes. I recommend you go into the Mossy Swine. It is just that direction.
Swine.
And she kind of points nearby. So it shouldn't be more than 2 blocks down, and you can't miss it. That's why we call it the Mossy Swine. It'll smell like moss, and it'll have a giant mossy swine outside. Not a real one, of course, but an image.
It's disappointing.
Yes, but most inns don't have the actual physical animal that they're named after. So I'm sure you're disappointed quite often.
It's his life. It just...
Anything you need help with up here? I'm not looking to charge.
I guess if you could do anything, you could take this package here, and she just has like a bunch of crates nearby, and if you could just actually drop it off at the Mossy Swine, that would be appreciated.
Is there
Dane
a
just nods
cart,
his head and grabs
or are we
one.
just kind of just lugging it?
It would be, the expectation is to lug it. It's not super far away.
Dane just picks one up and gets ready to go.
All right.
Thank you. I'm sorry if we got off on the wrong foot earlier. Again, just a lot going on. Very, very stressed out.
I can understand that. You know what is a great soother of stress?
What?
A nice cup of wine. May I share one with you?
I really shouldn't.
Core. Shouldn't be just giving it away. Please sell it.
I'll take a sip.
That's all I ask.
She samples it. Yeah, that was helpful. Thank you.
Wine usually is.
All right. Again, go rest up. You all look tired, and I will.
And don't forget to rest yourself, because you also got the actual kind of haggard look upon you that stress brings.
This is just name of this one shot is just going to be self-care. That's it.
With core.
Yeah, self-care with core. Yeah.
Cleric, healer, alchemist.
All right.
I'm a walking pharmacy.
There you go. And yeah, she does just go back to work. Looks a little bit less stressed now after you offering to help her out, Dane, and Core, you giving her a sip of wine. She's settling in. Things will be okay. So you guys make your way towards the Mossy Swine.
I think we've already made a difference here. How about you, gentlemen?
Of a sorts.
That's so good.
We're off to a reasonable start.
You haven't made things worse. That's the first step. It does look like we lost your video there, Tolmach.
He said he
Oh.
was going to turn on some lights.
Oh, no problem.
In the general chat.
All
So
right.
he'll be back in a second.
That's fine. All right, so as you make your way to the bar, it is getting later in the day, so most people's work shifts would be over, and it is a bustling, happening place. As you get in, there's one single table that is open, but there's a couple of seats at the bar, and a lot of people are just standing around and having a drink. But you do see a male dwarf with red hair tied up all into a beard going forward. He's going around taking drinks. He's got ale on his tray, passing it out to people who have ordered. He notices you all, and regardless of where you sit, just kind of go wherever. I'll get you when I get to you. And
Seems a lot of people are busy.
Yeah. You know, a full tavern is a happy tavern.
Unless you're short-staffed.
Well, no. So many people, you know, there was a big lockdown, and a lot of people found other employment.
Hey.
do you guys want to take the table, or do you want to sit with a crowd, or what do you want to do?
Cortel, being the social butterfly he is going to walk straight up to the bar and ask the barkeep, which is better, the beer or the ale?
I'd probably the ale, but if anything, if you want the special, we do have the Mossy Swill, if you're interested.
The Mossy Swill. Well, that sounds entertaining. I'll at least try one, just to say that I've had it.
Sure. Yeah, it'll just be 2 copper for the drink, unless you're looking to open up a tab.
How many people are in the bar?
Probably like 50 or so.
Then Core will slap down a full gold piece and say, 1 for the house!
Okay, all right, it's gonna be one of those nights. One for the house, and you just see the bearded dwarf with the red bearded dwarf just kind of look over at the bar and just go, "Oh Christ!" It's just and
I know he just got here. Might I be of assistance? I've worked in a few taverns.
Here, take these drinks to that table. I love this. It's just.
And Dan will just grab him and just kind of nod over and hurry over to
Yeah, as he just goes and runs to the back, and you just see, cups are being lined up and poured, and you all receive a cup. Whether or not you specifically want it or ask for it, it's placed in your hands, and you take a deep sniff of the small drink that was given to you, and it is strongly alcoholic and smoky, and if you've ever had a peaty scotch, there's a good comparison there. But this is this would be, malty liquor. So, if you want to take a sip, you're welcome to.
In one.
It burns going down.
Yeah.
But as you do,
you definitely don't want to make the mistake of inhaling.
But you do get a strong, again, smoky, kind of vanilla-y aftertaste, and it's pretty enjoyable. If on the aftertaste, if not on the intake.
Just right after long hike up that rough mountain. I think otherwise Telmac is opting more for the table, so
Okay.
probably grabs one chair for the feet and one for sitting and leaning back. A little extra personal space.
Perfect. And you kind of need it, because this is very much so a dwarven town.
Right.
Everything is made for people who cap out at 4.5 feet. So, you're managing, but nobody really gives you any negative glance because of it. They're all kind of understanding, yeah, that chair is made for somebody much smaller than him. At this, the other two of you, Crowley and Dane. Dane, you're helping. Do you want to continue just helping?
Yeah, Dane's gonna keep helping unless they seem like they have things under control.
Okay, yeah, you all notice. Go ahead.
I would also like to help, but I'm going to take out a little poultice, rub my hands together with it, and then psychically extend out my hands to help do the pores with a mage hand.
Okay, let's go ahead and have you roll a performance check.
That would be a 5.
Okay, that's what I was hoping for. So while you may be definitely skilled with your mage hand, you're not as skilled with using your mage hand to make good pours, and you just find every time you do, it's just some of it's going over, a couple of them are totally underfilled, and overall you're just making a mess as the bartender just goes over to
after the first 3 or 4 are pulled. Can I try to assist him?
Sure.
You want me to roll?
Yeah, why not?
With advantage, or is this a separate roll?
Since they were done separately, we'll do separate rolls. If you
Gotcha.
said it at the same time, I would have said advantage.
Got it.
What do you want me to roll?
Oh, sorry, performance as well.
Form.
Magical performance.
You got a grand total of 7.
Oh, all right. So, do you want to roleplay that in any way, or do you want me to handle it for you?
Oh, here's what's happening. Crowley is trying to help with the invisible mage hand, but he is just enjoying his drink and not giving any indication of what he's doing.
Okay.
The glasses are coming and clanging into the ones that are already there, but it's really not apparent what's causing it or why.
All right.
If Core is perceptive enough to have seen me do that kind of trick before, he would be able to pick up on it. But if not,
I have a
there's
passive.
nothing.
I have a passive of 16.
All right. We'll say that you've seen this enough times. It takes you a moment for sure, but you do pick up on what's happening.
I didn't move that.
The bartender just
little sheepish expression, and I'm like, Sorry, I was trying to help. I'll stop now.
The bartender is, dealing with customers and getting orders, turns around and sees these glasses like knocking over and the tap just like currently left open and just spilling everywhere, and just goes, "What the fuck?" And goes, Dane! Already become a common name.
Hi.
Could you clean that up? And drink as
On it.
drink as much as you want. That's seems like fair payment.
Seeing this mess, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that just stands there and whistles at the bar and thinking, "Oh, I didn't spill anything." I'll own up to I was trying to help out in the busy night, and I'm sorry I made a mess. And how can I clean up?
Just stop doing anything. All right, and enjoy your drink. I appreciate the help, but we have got it covered. Your friend there is a natural at this, so I'll just keep using him. And thank you for purchasing drinks for the entire bar. We appreciate it.
I'm gonna
Just leans back and watches this.
I'm gonna just go over to myself, like, as I get back to the bar, put my head on my chest and cast Lungstrider on me, and then the other bartender run around a little bit faster.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, and he takes it, and you see him just get a pep in his step as he just begins to, go back. You clean up rather quickly, but still he helps with the pours, grabs things, goes around, takes orders, and in a couple of minutes here, we'll say, 10, 15 minutes, it seems like the hecticness of you all walking in like a hurricane has subsided and have gone into a more natural order. And it's around this time when a dwarf, of course, comes up to you, Tolmok, and takes a seat at the mostly empty table you have here as everybody else is getting into their own business, and hops down next to you and goes, "So, you're new around here. What brings you into town?"
I thought you just wanted to show me how observant you were. Well, my friends over there. I came in today. I'm just traveling for some business.
Does that business have anything to do with the mine? I saw you all talking with Ursel earlier.
Hi. They call me Bone Grinder. What's your name?
Roll an intimidation check. I assume that's why you bring out Bone Grinder.
Establish
That
the
was
right
seduction.
connections here. That would be a 21.
I'm not looking for any trouble here, just looking to make a proposition, an offer.
I assume you're not coming for trouble. That would be a really bad on your part. So, I have missed your name.
Yes, Chisel. Chisel's the name. And
Chisel.
you start to get a good look at him. He does have just like just pure black hair that is in braids, and some large glasses on his eyes as well. And you do see a rather well-worn chisel on his tool belt, and that is the only thing you see on his tool belt.
Interesting. Tell me, Chisel. What do you do?
I've been working in the mines, and, just noticed a couple things here and there while working, and figure a couple of entrepreneurial types walking into town might have some interest in helping me out on a specific little project.
The mine manager, and I'm sure you have a whole establishment, dare I say, administration devoted to this.
No, this is more of a personal pet project, we'll say.
Oh. Now, what would we call this pet?
We'd call it maybe causing a bit of trouble for the mine and giving what's to a bunch of bloodthirsty slave drivers.
Interesting.
They work
Tell
you
me
to the
more
bone
about
here.
this.
They don't pay you a damn dime.
Really?
It's rather bad. You've all been here just a little bit of time, but trust me, it gets pretty awful here.
Now this pet called Trouble. What does this have to do with things disappearing, cave-ins?
No, not
Oh.
not yet. But there might be some of that in the future. Whatever's going on there now, I've got nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah, roll an insight check.
16.
16? Yeah, you are trying to gauge this person, and you aren't finding any of the obvious tells of like, say, nervousness beyond the fact that he's trying to divulge information that he probably wouldn't be telling to everybody. But it doesn't seem like he's being deceitful regarding the past of, again, him being the cause of any current issues.
Well, I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no yet, but tell me what would be in it for us?
5,000 gold, and if you're looking for anything else in the mind, I'm sure I could help.
5,000 gold to do exact.
I just want to set things back a little bit here. If you go down in the mine, if you get to one of the deeper areas, before you go, I just want you to leave a little present, and I'll take care of the rest.
Present.
I don't want you to hurt anyone. Don't need anybody hurt from it. Just need you to cause a bit of turmoil.
This present wouldn't hurt anybody either, would it?
As long as no one's around, it is not my intent to hurt anyone.
Well, chisel. And I look pointedly at his chisel on his belt.
Mm-hmm.
Chisel. I might have to sleep on this. I don't think well right after I've traveled up these mountains for a long, long time. But if we wanted to get a hold of you tomorrow, how'd we do that?
I'm staying here at the Mossy Swine. If you ask the barkeep, he knows my room. I'll let him know that you're all right to call on me.
Well, let me mull that over.
Of course. And here, he puts down just 5 copper. Just buy yourself whatever you want. Usually I start the conversation by buying you a drink, but I figure it's kind of over now and I don't want to overstate my welcome.
Chisel. And I thought we were getting along. Please take that back. Surely you're not offering me 5,000 gold pieces for a favor, and you insult me with 5 copper pieces.
Good point. Good point. And takes back the copper and puts it into his pouch. It stands up, makes no difference in his height, and kind of pats you on the leg as you're still sprawled out on the chairs here. I'll talk to you soon, hopefully. And you see him saunter off. The rest of you, I would assume at some point you would have seen this conversation. Obviously, I did not give you a chance to come on over and talk, but you did see Dwarf approach. You generally saw the interaction.
By the way, I should have probably asked at the time. Did I notice anybody close to us? What was the closest that anybody got to us during that conversation?
Yeah, we'll do a retrospective perception check.
It's a 12.
12. Okay. From what you gather, it seems like most people are pretty interested in their own affairs and their own drink. It's not like anybody was really hawk-eyeing you during it.
What food is there to be had at the Mossy Swine?
Your standard stews tonight. We don't have much right now.
Is it like a meat stew? Is it like a mushroom stew?
It's stew.
It's stew. Well, by God, you see the pale one. You said that all the drinks that my dwarf friend here could take is on the house. Does that also include the food?
For your dwarf friend, yes.
There we go, lads. I'm perfectly fine with that. And for my tall friend over there, let's all get a half a loaf of bread and a bowl of stew each, please, because we need to replenish ourselves from our long journey up the mountain.
All right, that'll be probably 2 silver.
2 silver. Here, I'll be even more generous. Here's a generous tip from the mess I made earlier today. I slap another gold piece down and slide it over. And I said, make sure that you get yourself well supplied up the next time that a supply truck comes in as well.
Well, I thank you mighty kindly. And in a bit of time, Dane, you receive the order for stew and a half loaf of bread. And take it to the table with Tolmach. And
at this point, I'm going to join Tolmach.
Yeah, okay. And Crowley, is there anything that you wanted to do during this time, just to make sure?
Yes. After food has been ordered, I will lean in, give Cora a little shoulder bump, and nod towards the conversation that's as if not saying anything, just to say, hey, maybe we should keep an eye on this. You've seen this exact maneuver before. You understand the meaning.
And I give you the Cortel gives you the knowing nod of, yeah, I see it too. You know.
You can tell that from a couple of the mossy swills. He's not anywhere close to drunk yet, but he's just nicely enjoying his evening.
He's got that buzz.
Yes. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Feel free to ask.
Those carts. Do you think you could make one go faster?
Oh, I'm sure we could, but I think before we do that, we can make them go faster. I think they need some kind of some kind of harness device, maybe something that goes over the top of your shoulders and kind of locks in place.
Yeah.
You know, because it would be a darn shame for us to take a bad curve and then tumble out of one of those at high speed. That could be quite messy. But get like some kind of over-the-shoulder device that comes down over the top, like maybe it locks in place.
Perhaps some kind of handle?
A handle would work too. But yeah, that was quite a lot of fun, wasn't it?
His face doesn't betray much at the time you're on the cart, but you can tell it's just the eyes getting a little wider. You know, on any given person, it could be joy or it could be fear. You know, with him, he's really into it though.
You know, it's almost like you feel your mortality kind of slipping away at some of those like little curves and corners, doesn't it?
There's like an expression of a lot of thoughts happening in a really short space of time. And he goes, do you know, I kind of felt the opposite. It's the blood pumping. From someone who looks like they haven't slept in many years. It's a boon.
We should definitely do that again.
I'm sure we can find time for it before we leave. So, the Dursel battering ram. I've never seen one of those before in person. Is that the one with the bunny head carved into the front?
No, that's the one with the copper top on it.
Oh, right. Okay. He glances to the sides, obviously he's considering his last words a little bit more. He just leans in just a little bit closer and goes, "Do I really look tired?"
Well, you always have that bit of a bag under your eyes, but you look slightly more haggard than you usually do.
That's fair.
Me, I'm absolutely beat, so I think I'm gonna finish my stew and find a place to flop for a good long while.
You've certainly earned it. Oh,
Ah.
one more thing.
Oh.
Is there any chance you would consider putting some of the he's clearly forgotten the word for a moment. The mossy swill into that marvelous jug of yours?
You know, I think I could do some hard spirits. You know, why don't we should order another one, and maybe in the morning I can pour it in there and swirl it around, and maybe I can actually, you know, maybe I can remake that formula. But there might be some. But since we're going, we'll put that on a shelf right now, and we may do that on the way out.
Yes.
And because going in, I may have to do a little bit of tinkering with a couple of others, and we may not have access to the wine bottle for a wee bit.
Just make sure we grab an amount before we leave.
We should. Absolutely, we should.
All right, and Dane, just to make sure, I know you're hard at work here, but is there anything in particular you want to do while working?
I think probably mostly going around to see if there's anything that's particularly interesting that people are talking about as I'm kind of handing things out to everyone.
Okay. Yeah. Roll me a. I guess I'm gonna say perception check. I guess I could probably be persuaded on investigation. The investigation is usually more tactile, but if you got it, I'll say it's all right too.
I'll go with perception.
Okay.
Okay. Same number both. That'll be a 21 on it.
21. Okay. Yeah, so you go around and you're just kind of generally doing like casual eavesdropping, right? And you hear a couple of people at a table of what looks like the grimiest kind of workers. You know, the people who just spend all day in the mine. And I don't even mean that as like an insult, grimy workers, but just like they're covered in all sorts of whatever. And they are just complaining up a storm, talking about how Dursel has, they're glad the mine shut down because this is the first break they've had in weeks, saying that the pay has not matched in any capacity, and you're kind of like hearing these common themes as you're going around of just people who just seem kind of upset. And despite the cheery air of the town that you've gathered just from your brief intro in, definitely get the feeling that some of the working people here might be a little bit upset.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. All right.
After the food is delivered, though, the barkeep kind of pats you on the shoulder and says, "Dane, I don't know where you came from, but thank you so much for all your hard work. Your food's here, though. Your drink's here. Just please, relax."
Certainly, and it's my job. People need help, and I'm here to help. That's the long and short of it. I just ask if next time someone looks like they need some help, go out of your way to give them some if you have the time.
Gonna make me cry. And he goes over to the shelf and he pulls off a bottle and he just hands it to you and he goes, "Here, maybe you can use this to help someone sometime." And it's just a nice bottle of, it says on there, just 20-year aged mossy swill.
No, not ahead and thank you. You're like, thanks. Have a good night.
So you all gather at the table around this point, food and drink and bread in hand. And in general, the evening's kind of quieting down a little bit, and Chisel is nowhere to be seen. He does seem to have left, either gone to his room. If anybody was trying to keep an eye on him, then I can make up a spot for him to have gone, but you currently don't see him.
little bit into us tucking into our stew, I look around like, well, I don't know whether any of you clocked this earlier, but I had a little visitor come by. Everybody
Yeah, just slight nods. Yep.
Yeah. Most people are a little visitor to you.
That is fair.
He just kind of gives a side glance at that.
But we'll need to talk about this little visitor. Just maybe not here.
I'm sure when we get our room booked that we can have some better conversations concerning intelligence gathering.
Some intelligence.
There's the cat.
Warned
Anyway,
you.
good stew. Good stew.
Yeah, and as you do, you take a bite into the stew, and there are chunks of what you think are meat. It has a meaty texture. It is by no means the highest quality thing you've ever had, but the broth itself tastes very, very rich. So whereas the ingredients in it don't seem to be great, whatever they make the actual stock out of is fantastic. You get the feeling that from what you've seen, there's not a ton of agriculture around here. So they probably haven't done too much to worry about that.
Yes, that good gristle and bone broth.
It's great for dipping the bread in.
I like to save it to the end to get it out the edge of the bowls.
There's a man of culture right there.
That mouth was rough.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do after you finish up your food? And
I think I'm ready to book a room and just find whatever floor, bed, sofa.
All right. So as you approach the barkeep, you don't see like a specific in person here.
Actually, I'm gonna grab our redheaded friend.
Okay.
Running around everywhere.
Sure.
What can we get a room, sir?
I can help you out with that. Kind of looks around, and there's no orders or anything right now. What are you looking for? We've got our standard rate, which is just silver per room per night. But if you're looking for something a little more luxurious, then be happy to give you the good room. Comes with a bath and your own private quarters. Have enough beds for all of you.
Silver a night is good for me.
Well, that bath sounds very tempting, especially when we're about to go in the dirt and the grime. Is there like a public bathhouse, or is there just like that we can go and we don't get the room with the bath, or?
There is a public bathhouse, not here, but yes, in the city. There's a couple.
What's the name of the bathhouse?
Well, there's the
one that's in very, very reasonable walking distance, like right around the corner if possible.
yeah, well, there's the one that's actually owned and operated by the owner's brother. That is the Steamed Ham.
Well, that's an interesting name for a bathhouse, I must say.
Yeah, it was trying to be a play on the mossy swine aspect, and they just kind of came up with it together.
The mossy swine works. The Steamed Ham, I think that needs a little bit of a rebranding.
Well, didn't realize that you were the king of marketing.
Well, I'm not. A name for myself.
Oh, well, the Steamed Ham's been working just fine, so maybe keep it to yourself.
It must be a regional flair thing. I'm fine with whatever room we choose. I was thinking we just get one room where we all book in and crash in the same place. That way we can set up some kind of watch system, because I'm only going to need 4 hours for a long rest.
At this point, I would point out we've been doing this for a while. Crowley does not sleep. Aspect of the moon. I'm the watchman.
So
creepy.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going for.
So yeah, I'm just thinking that way we can also all talk and kibitz in one place where we don't have to worry, like Scooby-Doo into each other around the halls, trying to trying to meet up.
What'll it be then?
I
Normal
think just
room?
one room for the 4 of us.
All right.
We'll take the fancy room. I'm happy to pay out of my share of our earnings.
All right. Fancy room. That'll be 5 gold.
I didn't actually ask about our starting resources. Can I cover that as of now?
Look, it's a one shot. I mean,
Yeah.
money's made up. If it's in character to throw 5 gold on a room, then go for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't come with me and go, oh yeah, and then I bought some +1 plate armor and a Vorpal sword. No.
I called it Snicker Snack.
I understood that reference. So he goes off, gets you a key, you pay the gold, and takes you up to your room. And it's at the end of the hallway upstairs. It's like a 4-story, I guess, inn, and it is on the 4th floor. As you get into the room, you hear him just kind of, if you'd like, I could get the bath ready right away, or I could save it for tomorrow. I mean, you let me know. We just have to bring up the hot water, but we can do that whenever you're ready.
I'm actually interested in spending some time at the steamed ham. So as much as the bath here might be actually beneficial, just the nearby public bathhouse is fine by me. We just needed the room for the 4 of us.
Babe, however you want to spend your money's up to you, but let me know if you change your mind. And just kind of nods and walks off. Oh.
You've been most helpful. Thank you for everything. I tip him 5 silvers.
Quite generous. Quite generous. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And you are alone in this luxurious room. As you look, there are 4 separate beds and a separate room specifically for a bathroom. It has one of those nice medieval style, like, best thing I have to say is poop chute. It has indoor bathroom that's basically just, is that it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a garderobe.
Thank you. But yeah, it's basically, a hole that just drops to the bottom floor, so you don't even have to deal with any of the unpleasantries. But it's a nice looking room.
Very cool. Very nice. This is actually a very nice place.
Thank you for springing for it, Raleigh.
So who is your
somebody
little
who
friend? So
For somebody who doesn't, oh, I was gonna say, for somebody who doesn't sleep, you do enjoy your fancy bedrooms.
I find pleasure in spending my time in a comfortable environment, and you've all earned a nice bed.
Who is your little friend?
So, a little friend who came over called himself Chisel. Who knows whether that's his real name? He was wearing a chisel on his belt, so came to make us a little offer. Said he was representing an unnamed, undefined number of folks who would maybe like to see the mine slow down, or maybe take some setbacks in their operations. Would like us to deliver what they called a gift, a little present down into the mines.
Say what it was.
Well, pretty clearly something that goes boom and causes a lot of damage to the mines. He didn't put it like that, but promised, of course, that nobody would get hurt, and he didn't want anybody to get hurt as long as nobody was around, yada, yada, yada. Offered us 5,000 gold pieces for this. He said that the mine owners were abusing the labor here, treating them badly, working them to the bone, that kind of thing.
I actually did overhear some workers talk about this is the first day they've had off in a few weeks. So they might actually check out a bit about the abuse. They could also just be disgruntled employees exaggerating for effect.
And Toolback, did this chisel person look like he could procure 5,000 gold pieces? I mean, what was your read on it? Did you feel that the offer was genuine, or it was just some kind of bullshit play for us to sabotage the mine, and then kind of like us down there?
Well, he didn't seem to be lying about wanting this to happen or being disgruntled about something, about maybe the conditions, maybe the mines. I didn't get a clear read on him, what his real motives were. I have my reservations. We just arrived. We don't know the situation. We don't know. I don't know whether anybody was watching us. It's a lot of money to offer some random people who just happen to be by to do something. I did ask him about the current stop of operations, and he said they had nothing to do with that. Now, why on earth somebody would still want to sabotage the mines when the mines are already sabotaged and shut down is a bit beyond me.
Someone failed the last time they asked.
He said they didn't have anything to do with the current cave-ins and disappearances, so...
Maybe not directly, but I find most Samaritans aren't the kind to be looking around to make someone into a minor noble. That being said, I'm not against them believing or willing to help. Whatever device they have may be useful. I can probably take it apart if it is going to be something that goes boom.
I told him that we would maybe get in contact with them tomorrow. Crowley, Core, what do you think about this whole story?
Well, we shouldn't do anything rash, but regardless of the course of action we intend on taking, we could perhaps see if they'd be amenable to giving us half the gold up front.
Just from what you described, and from what the general feel of the town is, I don't know if there's 5,000 gold pieces outside of the nobleman's coffers to scratch up together. Yeah, I was flashing gold around left, right, and center today, but it seemed like it had been the first time anyone had seen a gold piece in some while. I mean, 5 silvers, and we got a friend for life over here with our maitre d' friend. My granddad said, if it smells like a fish, wiggles like a fish, it's probably a fish. So there's something fishy going on here. We definitely need to find out what we're going to be stepping in. Because, some of it just does, sometimes the stink just doesn't get off.
The least thing I want us to be is patsies for some internal struggle here.
And we've got marks because we're the newcomers. The only person that can mingle around here is Dane. And, no offense, I'm just stating facts. The only person that can mingle around here is Dane, so, it's like, oh, they're expendable, and they're expendable. So I think we need to approach this with a lot of trepidation.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question. I have the urban bounty hunter background.
Okay.
So that usually says this connection. I have a connection in any city I visit.
Okay.
But I've never been. Does that apply here? Would I know somebody here?
Sure. Yeah.
That?
I mean, just because you haven't been here, say you've got a friend who is in the area.
Bounty Hunter Guild.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to kind of think up a connection, I'll let you have it. I mean, it's standard fantasy towns to throw something on there.
Okay. While you go to the steamed ham, maybe I'll try and see whether I can find something out about the whole situation here.
All right, I'll see you guys in give me an hour. I'm gonna take a nice leisurely bath, see if I can drum up any information from any of the patrons around there, and we'll see what's going on.
Have fun steaming your hams.
You know, that's what I said. They needed the rebranding. That's exactly what I said.
It gets the people going. What does it mean? Are we the hams? All right, so the two of you are going to take off and do some things. Crowley, are you doing anything?
Yes, but before they leave, I would like to ask, how delicately do you want to handle this chiseled person?
I don't know what you're thinking right now, Crowley, and I'm not sure.
If you want me to find out everything they know, I can go and ask them. It is a haunting look that he gives you when he says that.
Yeah, we'll say you guys have been traveling together for a while. You know what that look means.
It's not that I don't like the idea, but I think what Cora said is right about the money. This is not Chisel's money. This is not just some random disgruntled workers or even mistreated workers' money. This is big money. This is high up people money. For now, let's keep Chisel alone and see what I can find out. We can come back to you.
Oh, I'll be waiting.
I like this man.
Awkward after all this time up the mountain if you didn't.
Okay, so we come back to you all in your room still. A couple of you heading out just to make sure it's just going to be Tolmok and Cortel going out into the night, correct?
As far as I know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, then. Cortel, we'll start with you as you exit out and head your way towards the steamed ham. You can... This is what you get for putting me on the spot and making me think of a bathhouse name.
You justified it well.
Yeah. As you make your way with the directions that you were given, you quickly find this relatively, what's the word I'm looking for? Not busy bathhouse. I mean, it's late at night. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, people have gone into their homes at this point, but there's a few patrons here and there. You get the one group who look to be like they are just having the night of their lives, and just living it up. They're definitely drunk, and you don't entirely know why they're at a bathhouse, but they're here. And another group who just seem to be kind of minding their own business. You know, maybe they just got off work and they wanted a bath before they get out. None of them are grouped up. There's only one group of people, but otherwise fairly plain place. As you walk in, there is an attendant at a front desk sort of thing here. What would you like to do?
I'm interested in using your facilities today. I've been traveling all day. It took a little while longer to get up to the city than we had hoped. I'm quite tired, so I want a quick bath and so I could get back to my inn. So I just need a bucket, a soap. Do you have a robe that'll fit me?
Oh yes, we keep a couple of extra long robes just in case.
Perfect. Then that's all I need. Don't need any cleaning services at this time.
All right, sounds simple. Just two copper then.
2 copper. I'll pay a silver piece.
Big spender.
Single-handedly keeping this town's economy afloat.
Right.
We know where the 5,000 gold pieces are coming from now.
The whole town's had enough. They're all putting together. They've got like 4,800. They just need to keep us around for another fortnight or so to top it off.
You see the female dwarf get up from her chair, and she heads over to where they have robes, and goes to like the very top one that she has to pull a stool over for, and grabs the extra large robes for the non-natives here, and just kind of points you towards a doorway and says, "Bats right through there. There's buckets, water, suds, everything you should need."
Thank you very much. And cheers. So I go in and I go to the changing area, strip down, go find the waters, start lathering up, and I'm keeping my ear out for disgruntled miners, like the stag party or the hen party that's going on over yonder. That's them. They're drunk off their ass. I don't need to pay attention to them unless they. But I'm going to keep kind of like a passive ear out in case they start mentioning anything that I need to start paying attention to.
Okay.
But I'm specifically trying to get the vibe of disgruntledness going on around.
Okay. Yeah, so as bit of time passes, it's one of those things where like when one group is particularly lively, it's hard for everyone not to be listening to them, and you have to almost like actively tune them out. But you know, it's possible to do. I don't need a roll for that. Everybody can just do that. But you start to try and like listen in more towards the other people who just seem like they've again come in. They look dirty. They look like miners, and you hear one of them yell over and just go to again, one of his friends will say, they seem like they're chummy. Yeah, you know, they show up at the same place. They're regulars. And kind of leans over and just goes, always hate when the rich ones come in. Just cause such a ruckus, just trying to have a nice bath after a long shift. Yeah, other ones, you're telling me. This is ridiculous. I wish somebody would tell him to shut up. Remember when I was young, I never remember being that annoying. And they kind of go back and forth like this for a little bit of time. But you do hear them kind of just chit-chat, complain about work, but none of it really sounds like they're, you know, being
particularly.
Yeah. It's like it's if anything, they start to complain about like other employees. You know, like, oh, you know, Greg was working with me on the floor 28, and you'd not believe the shite that man gets into. You think that his pickaxe would be lost if we didn't literally super glue it to his hand.
Even more to the point, other than co-workers, trying to key in on management. You know, bitching about the boss kind of things.
Sure.
I've got just to let you know, I've got a passive perception. I'm mainly doing this passively.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a passive of 16 on perception, and I've got a passive insight of 16.
Okay.
So I'm doing a whole kind of read body language kind of thing going on.
Yeah, as the conversation goes on for a little bit, the conversation does turn a little bit more serious, and you notice that via your passive insight. But they start to get a little bit more hush-hush, and from what becomes friendly banter starts to become a little bit difficult to hear. Roll a perception check.
That would be a 14.
14. All right. It's hard to make out the entirety of their conversation. You hear bits and pieces, but what you do hear is a familiar name. Sounds like Dursel, said once or twice.
I will log that in and then just finish what I'm doing and head back and put on the clothes again, head back, and meet with Dane and Crowley
Okay.
back at the inn.
All right. Well, we'll get to that in just a bit. Tolmak. So, were you kind enough to come up with somebody for me?
I'll have you help me a little bit.
Sure.
Sure, yes.
This is collaborative role playing at work.
Building the world, but
The meaty bits.
I consult. I keep a little notebook with I keep tabs on just about anybody. Certainly anybody I've ever hunted down and brought to justice or returned for pay for whoever wanted somebody brought back. And I tend to keep tabs on them, asking people I know, hey, would you know where they are now? I thought I remember there's somebody here, dwarf Alfric. I chased down a good decade ago now. He's a really good little cat burglar. Heard got out a few years ago and is now up here running a milliner's business of all things. Trying to supposedly be on the straight and narrow. I'll pay Alfric a little visit.
All right. And what was the name again? Alfred?
Alfric.
Frick. Okay, that's what I thought. And then you said a milliner's business?
Milliners.
I don't even know what that is.
Hat maker.
Oh, okay. Milliners. Perfect. Great. Milliner. All right. Okay. Yeah. So you ask around town and...
Specifically ladies' hats.
Okay. Thank you.
To be clear, I'm heading out. I'm leaving most of my equipment back, like none halberd or anything.
Sure.
Just a dagger. I do make sure I have my scale mail underneath my clothing.
Okay.
Just in case, because I know Alfred.
Okay. Great. Yeah. So you ask around town, and it is pretty simple to find the man. At least his business, as well as where he lives, same spot. And you get word that you are looking for name for a female hat shop.
Okay, so we have the mossy swine.
Mhm.
We have the steamed hams.
Yeah. Are we keeping with the pork themes here?
Let's go with the pork theme.
Okay.
We'll hold on. Just do a quick Google.
Thank you for taking this load off my back.
The sow's top.
All right. There we go. The sow's top.
What is it with this town?
They don't even have any pigs. You haven't seen a single pig since you've come here.
That's right. That's why. I wish they had.
Yeah. All right. So you find the sow's top. It's late. It is not open by any means. But there is the front entrance to the store. But as you're familiar with most store setups, the owners would probably have their own separate entrance for their living quarters. Would you like to go to those?
Go around. Look around for a moment. I'd actually like to check that when I knock on the door, there's nobody watching me do this.
Sure. Roll a perception check.
That would be a 21.
Okay. Yeah, looking around, you do see a group of people who seem to be like kind of near the alleyway. As you kind of listen, it's a couple who seems to be having a fight, and they're really getting into it. Verbal exchange that seems like a lot of discussion about where the young dwarven man was, where his eyes were during a party they were attended earlier that evening.
Well, I'll either wait until they've maybe moved off a little bit, or at least while I'm sure that they're not paying too much attention to me, and then I knock on the door.
Takes a little bit. You don't hear much of a response. The couple does like hear you knock on the door, and while it seems like they've been really into it, they kind of like look over at you, and they get this like embarrassed look to themselves as they realize they've been fighting in front of somebody where they thought this was like a private alleyway, and they scamper off to another secluded area to continue their squabbling. And as this happens, you do hear as the door opens and a short dwarven man with darker skin, and it's a short even for a dwarf, looks at you. He has a cute little nightcap on, and it looks like he's in his pajamas, and he looks at you and kind of rubs his eyes and goes, "Who the fuck is... Oh, I haven't done anything wrong. Did somebody send you for me? I swear they got the wrong information. I've been good. See, this is my business. It's all good, all straight, all good."
You invite me in? Like an old friend.
I guess roll a persuasion check. Doesn't seem like you're trying to be...
Natural one.
Natural one?
Natural.
I don't know if I consider you much of a friend, and I hope you don't take offense to that, but the person who took me in and put me in the big house for a couple 5 or so years is... You'll have to excuse me. I hope you don't think I'm being rude, but I am feeling a little cautious.
Just wanted to ask you a few questions. Has nothing to do with you. At least I think it doesn't. Anyway, just wanted to make sure that, the neighbors don't listen to stuff they might think is weird for a milliner to talk about.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right out here. He kind of looks around. It's late. He seems all right with where things are. Wants to keep you in plain, I'll say daylight, but keep you out in the open.
So how's the milliner's business going?
It's doing all right. Had a couple of people complain about the name of the business, but otherwise, we're making sales.
Good.
I think the tagline of "once you wear a sow's top, you'll be the prettiest pig at the ball" isn't really landing the way that I wanted it to.
Might have to hook you up with a friend who's all about the marketing. Anyway.
That'd be really appreciated. But I assume you didn't come here to talk about hats.
I mean, don't underestimate it. But, I'm certainly not in town for your hats, although I'm glad to hear that you're doing well in that line and not... Anyway. Funny thing about the mines, isn't it?
What about it?
Well, apparently they're all shut down.
Oh,
Weird.
right, all that business.
Disappearances of, stuff disappearing, cave-ins. But also some of the workers don't seem to be too happy about the work.
It's tough work being in the mines. There's a reason I'm out here trying to make hats.
Tell me a little bit about the politics of this place. Who runs the mines?
Well, Dursel runs the mines. She's the kind of in charge, and while I won't say she's much in the way of the leader of the town, I'll say those that control the mines kind of control the lifeblood of the town here. The council spends much of their time making sure she's happy.
So she reports to the council.
Well, we all report to the council. They're the body of government here, but it's not a direct report as much as a soft one. They keep each other happy.
I see. And so usually the mines sort of support the town. Lifeblood of the place.
Yeah, I'd say we're not really known for our hats. Yet.
Very good. There you go. That's your marketing sense right there. What's the word on the street or among the ladies shopping for hats? How are the workers being treated? Are they happy working in the mines? I know it's hard work, but
you may not have realized this, but you came to the right place. The only people who complain more about the work in the mines than the workers are the workers' wives. I always seem to hear that they'd like to buy more, but their husband can't support it, and the money they're making isn't enough either. Seems that a couple of them, regulars here, they have their complaints. A lot of them. Most of them centered on, well, I guess kind of the normal things you expect to hear. Never see their husbands. It seems like when somebody's losing a limb, which is all too common in the mines, that it's never paid out proportionally to the harm that's given to the family. I've got one lady who comes in. She always loves the tall hats. Every time I bring in a hat, she wants it taller. It seems like that's her specific thing, is that she wants it to be almost as tall as you. And it's probably not the information you're looking for, but she yeah. She just always she mentioned how her husband has been out of work for quite some time now, as he lost a leg from a small cave-in. Something just expected. It happens. But where you'd normally expect to be taken care of after working there for 30 years, they've been struggling to make ends meet. And if it wasn't for the community around here, I think they'd be in some dire straits.
Facing rough, dangerous work, but not the right kind of compensation for that.
Yeah, or things seem rushed. There's always a push to deliver more, to get further in the mine, to just keep going. And that always leads to safety precautions being overlooked.
What is it they mine for here?
Well, the rare metals, of course, for smithing is probably the main economy, but they also do find other sorts of gems here and there. Nothing as rare as sun gems, but we do have some more of the rare minerals that you can find here. But those are generally found in the lower regions of the mine, and I think a big reason why they're pushing to go lower.
I don't know how much you know this, but you said Dursil basically runs her own show in conversation with the council. Does the mine support itself? Is there money coming from elsewhere? What's the economy of this place look like?
As far as I can tell, the mine's doing all right. At least in terms of the money it brings in. Trade's always busy, the port's always moving. I think that's one of the reasons the workers are so upset. When you see your boss sitting pretty, eating steamed hams, and you're on your ass because you got your leg amputated, it's a tough rock to swallow.
Doesn't sound right. Well, I'm glad you're doing well, Alfred.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not here to throw me in jail.
Seeing you around.
Yeah. And next time, could you try visit during working hours?
I can't promise that, because I never know where I'm going to be.
Well, I think I can promise you that this was not a conversation that needed to happen tonight.
For me, maybe it was. But I think
I love it. Oh, such an edgelord ranger thing to say. In a good way. Compliments to the chef. All right, so he closes the door and sorry.
Mm-hmm. I start walking away and I take 2 steps and I go, actually, I've got one last question.
He's like almost closing the door and you just see him kind of open it. What?
Before all of these accidents in the mines, stuff disappearing, the cave-ins, was there anything else that had happened before, either in the mines or in town in general?
Nothing that particularly sticks out from when I came here. I mean, I guess there was one thing.
What was that?
It's a little fuzzy. It was around when I first came here, but there was a rival clan, dwarven clan, just a couple 50 or so miles north of here, around the Ossex bounty. They were trying to buy the mine out, but the town refused, and the council refused. Caused a bit of a stir, but that's probably the most busy thing that's happened here.
How long ago was that, you said?
Around when I came here, so 4 or 5 years ago.
Great piece of information. Thank you so much, Alfred.
Of course. And tell anybody that you see to buy my hats. I guess I don't really get much out of this conversation, do I?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
And I walk off into the night.
All right.
Can I derail us just for 1 second?
Please.
I would like to compliment Toolmat on his exemplary use of the Columbo. That was marvelous.
Of the what?
The Columbo.
Columbo.
The leaving
The-
and then
the Peter
just
Falk
one more
bumbling.
thing.
What?
Just before you leave.
Oh, okay.
That's how he gets people to open up. That's the move.
Okay.
Yep, the bumbling detective Columbo.
Mhm.
Bumbling in air quotes because he is the smartest guy in whatever room he's in. He just likes to play dumb.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The
Beautiful.
execution, I mean.
Yeah.
It was very well done.
Perfect. So you all arrive back at the inn. Anything else needs done? Nope.
Just update the others with what I heard at the bathhouse about the disgruntled nature that some of the employees have with our battering ram family person. Dorsal. It's almost like a fin.
Get out. It's nice playing with all of you, except for Bob. Get out. Okay.
Come on, Jared. We all have terrible NPC names.
Yeah. That's a great NPC name. That's screw you. But all right, anything else you guys want to talk about when you're at the inn? Are you resting
I
up?
would like before I take my rest to ask Crowley. Crowley, I have a particular talent where I can enhance arcane foci. Maybe give it a little bit more of a push. Would you like me to do that for you in the morning?
That would be marvelous. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, it means that we'd lose the wine bottle, but I figure we keep our erstwhile protector's armor nice and shiny, and if we could pack you a little more punch with your magics, that would be good for all of us together.
Oh yes. His eyes almost visibly light up a little bit at that information. He's into it.
Oh, then that's what I'll do. Good night, gentlemen. And he'll go do his elven translating.
Okay.
Since he'll be up for 4 hours before anybody else will be, that's when he will do his infusions and his prayers. And
Yeah. And Bob, earlier you made a comment about how your persuasion roll should have been different. Well, I just remembered every roll you guys have done tonight should have been at disadvantage because of the exhaustion. So mistakes were made, but that's all right. But at this point, you do get a nice long rest, and that exhaustion goes away, and we just forget it ever happened. When morning comes... Oh, what's that?
I knew I was doing.
Yeah. Morning comes. I guess, Crowley, you're going to be staying up the entire night, keeping watch.
Oh yes.
Is there anything you do during that time, or are you just staring at the door?
It varies night to night, but
Okay.
for this night in particular, he'll spend the first hour or so sort of moving backwards and forwards through the place. He'll check out a window for a few minutes, see who passes by, and then he has a habit of like leaning into one of the walls or near the door and just standing perfectly still.
Okay.
Because, a lot easier than most people when you don't have to breathe. And just like hovering and waiting, see if you can hear anything through walls, see if you can get the impression of anyone, skulking around.
Okay.
If after a little while everything seems okay, then he'll probably just go into the book and he'll sit there reading until someone wakes up to keep him company.
All right. And that person would be Cortel after your short amount of time resting. But for the sake of moving things along, we'll say you guys enjoy your company together, and everyone awakes in the morning, fully rested, exhaustion-free, and you have the day to spend it how you would like.
Okay, Jared Cortel did use his infusions today on enhanced arcane focus on Crowley's book, and he is also going to do the enhanced defense once again on Tolmac's armor.
Okay, perfect.
So
It's +1 to
Tolmac
spell
is
saves, +1 to AC.
actually +1 to spell attacks
Oh.
on that. So his Eldritch Blast is a little more blasty.
All right.
So, and then of course +1 AC to Tolmac.
Right. All right, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, and then I will take a look at my spells and see if I want to change anything out. Since prepared casters.
Yep.
Well, folks, had an interesting conversation with a little acquaintance of mine from a few years ago.
Did you know?
Doesn't matter so much. Mattered more that they good source of information in some of the things going on here, I think. It confirmed for me that what Dan, you and I had heard from our various passes last night, that working conditions in the mines don't seem to be good ones. I don't think they treat their workers right. It's dangerous work anyway, working in the mine. I don't know how much care they really take keeping their workers safe. And when something happens, they don't pay them right. They don't treat them well. They don't take care of them after something happens. It seems to be very much sort of profit driven, more and more and more. Go deeper, get the richer metals, get the more expensive stones. Seems that Madame Dursel has carved out a little fiefdom for herself here as well. Supposedly the council is nominally in charge of the whole place, but because the mines support the town, pretty much, certainly the main support, she seems to have a lot of clout here. I wonder whether the council is really sort of hand-waving oversight and control. So I wouldn't be surprised if our friend Chisel was genuine, that there is a faction of disgruntled workers who want to do something. I also found out that a few years ago, another dwarven clan, 50 miles or so along the rim of the crater, tried to buy out the mine, and they got blocked. So you have somebody else with a motive to sabotage the mines, which might explain why things were disappearing and things collapsing before our disgruntled workers could ever.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't really like either side of this one. Either we help Dorsal, and do nothing else other than that. Retriever workers get all stone and walk out. And these people continue to suffer. We help this man potentially blow a portion of the mine, give it to new people which we have no way of verifying, and potentially kill innocent workers in the middle of it.
And it strikes... Sorry, Dane, I cut you off. Please continue.
I would rather try to convince Dorsal one way or the other about giving these people proper working rights.
It seems to me that Dorsal is even though she's like in charge of the mines, it seems to be more that she's more just a middle manager. She's a go-between between the workers and the people, and maybe the council, maybe someone above the council, and this other clan that you mentioned earlier. If they made a purchase offer for a mine, well, that's a purchase offer for the mine. That's going to be much more than 5,000 gold pieces.
So, yeah. I don't think they are behind Chisel's offer. They might be behind the thing that's shutting down the mines right now.
Oh, that could be it. But they could also be bankrolling this other party, because it's 5,000's a lot of money.
It could be behind both.
You know, there's weirder things that happened. You know, there was that one guy that tried to manage both sides of a war in an effort to take over a kingdom.
Who was that?
Somebody named Halt something or other.
No, don't. It's okay.
That was for Jared.
Ruining my lore.
I didn't know, but I could see a look on your face. I knew something had occurred there.
It's more like there's not even any kingdoms. It doesn't even make sense. It's fine. Move on.
Something to keep in mind as we do this, but perhaps we should go check to see if our workers came out. I don't think they did.
It's been several days. We're probably going in on somebody's behalf, whether it's Chisels or Dorsals. We're definitely going into the mines. Now, what we do there is up to us.
And whether or not we actually work with Dorsal or not, I am fine to fool this man. I don't think he has good intentions, but if we do so, we may be risking the wrath of whoever is bankrolling him.
And as much as I hate to say it, sometimes the status quo is there for a reason. You know, when you throw in an element of chaos this big about shutting down the major economic center of an entire town, there are so many dominoes that fall after that you just don't know where that's going to go. It could go to someplace good. It could go into dog eat dog, cats and dogs living together mass hysteria. You know, we just don't know. So let's just go ahead and play it logical and play it safe for now.
I'm fine with that.
I am happy to follow your lead.
Well, let's go to talk to Dorsal. That was our next step. I'm sorry.
Worth going in, being paid by both sides.
Well, we know one side's going to be a guarantee. I'm still thinking the other side comes with a knife to the back.
Alright. I'm fine to follow, and we can see whether we can find some more information.
You know, if you could talk to Chisel and see if you can get a better read, maybe take Crowley with you when you talk to Chisel the next time. He seems to be really wanting to talk to Chisel.
That's what worries me.
Well, it means that Chisel might be more willing to be perfectly honest with us too.
Slight sidebar. I didn't put it in the specific, campaign guidelines. I will not roleplay torture. I don't think that's where you'd actually go with it. I don't think it's where you'd actually go with it. But I just need to say it. I don't think it is. I didn't think so. I didn't get that vibe, but I'd rather say it now and have the laugh than not say it later and feel like I should have.
Fair.
Fair.
For the avoidance of all doubt,
Yep.
Ghostman goes boo,
Yep, that's
people
fine.
don't lie to him.
That's fine. I maybe should have given you the benefit of the doubt, but no way I'm doing that with people I met today.
It's not torture, it's advanced persuasion.
Yeah. Carry on. Sorry.
Well, probably do you want to, we have to talk, we have to tell Chisel something anyway, even
Well,
if it's a no.
I think you and Crowley should go talk to Chisel, and then Dane and I'll go talk to Dorsal.
Okay.
And that way we both get the reads of the entire situation from both sides of the coin.
I like that. It's a good idea. But
So, Jared, I don't care which one you start with. So
Ready, break. All right, we'll deal with Telmach and Crowley first, since it's literally in the inn. So you go down to the barkeep, same person as before, and they give you Chisel's room number, and you head on up to the second floor, find room number 5 on the second floor, and as you knock on the door, you hear a familiar voice go, "Hey, I'll be right there." Bit of stumbling around. Go ahead.
Just as he's approaching the door, just quietly say, "You tell me when it's time to frighten."
okay.
At this point, the door opens, and Chisel sees Crowley first, and just goes, "Oh, and then sees you, Telmach, and you've arrived, and you brought a friend.
Oh yes, I am a friend.
You're
This is Crowley. Crowley. Meet Chisel.
Chisel.
Ah, now we have names. We're friends too. It's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you."
Attempt to shake his hand.
He puts out a hand as well. I don't know what a handshake with you would feel like.
It's a little bit colder than it should be, but otherwise it's fine.
Okay. Okay. You do see he kind of notices that as he like reaches out his hand. It's just like, well, yes, you're a lot more. You're different up close. Well, please come inside. Come inside.
Station.
And he closes the door behind you. So, have you thought about my offer?
We have had a bit of a talk, and wondering where does and this is no offense to you, Chisel, where does somebody like you come up with 5,000 gold pieces, or a little present that might go boom?
See, I was of the opinion that if this progressed more, there'd be probably a few less questions. Things generally go smoother. If I have to reveal everything, then I ask you to reveal everything, and who knows where that goes.
Help me out here. We are new arrivals here, not from here, not involved in any of this. We don't. What do we have to reveal? What is the... You're asking us to do something that's potentially very dangerous to us. Willing to put out a lot of money. So much money, in fact, that we're wondering actually behind all of that. Look, we listened around, we asked around, and I get the sense that your story about the mistreatment of workers is not far off the truth. But there's something you're keeping away from us, and that's something that's a very important something.
You're not wrong. There's always going to be a few things that are kept close to the vest. Had to make sure I could get a read on you, proper one. Trust you. Still don't really. But I'll say it's a group who has a vested interest in the long-term prosperity of the mine.
Really? No.
Yeah. Just take one step towards him, and then the shutters on the window slam shut, so it gets a little darker. Is there any other light source in the room?
There is an oil lantern that is burning.
That starts to dim. He's just and the light comes down really, really gradually. That's much nicer. So, you're asking an awful lot of it.
I'm also paying an awful lot.
I don't see any gold in here.
All right. And he heads over to a bag of his and pulls out a chest. It's about this big. Takes a good portion of his satchel, and he gives it like a shake. I've got plenty of people who know I'm here. I've told plenty of people that you're coming to see me. I'd highly recommend you don't do what some more nefarious folks might do, seeing this. But you need proof? Here's proof. And he puts it down on the table, takes out a key that's just like in his mouth, and opens it up. And in the chest there is stacks and stacks of gold pieces.
Does that look about right to you, Tomac?
Both of you roll, we'll just say intelligence checks.
Oh no.
13.
14.
Okay. Neither of you have seen this amount of liquid cash in one time. It's not the type of thing that you can easily quantify. You also might think there might be a bit of platinum in there as well, just to kind of condense and whatnot. You get the feeling this is probably about right.
Okay. You can lock that back up for now.
It's not like one layer of gold on top and then copper underneath.
It had crossed my mind.
Yeah. But yeah, he essentially shows you the briefcase of money and closes it back up.
And locks it. Presumably.
Yes, locks it.
I'll wait until he's put it back where it lives to continue.
Okay. And he does so.
I think we can do business. So before we go any further, I do have to ask if you've seen the irony of suggesting that we might be untrustworthy individuals. Folks of a less than perfect character. When those are exactly the kind of people that you want to do the job you're offering. If we were entirely upstanding and righteous citizens who would never dream of robbing anyone, are we really the sort of people who would take on the job you're offering?
If you've worked in this line of business long enough, you need to know the right kind of wrong people. It's making sure you're the right kind of wrong.
Okay, so, assuming my friend here agrees, I think we can do business. But I do have one condition first. You tell us exactly who you're working for.
All right. Let's go ahead and roll a persuasion check, and I'm going to give you advantage. I'll say this is a... Oh, go ahead.
I would like that.
Okay.
Not yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Let's see what he says first. Oh, wait, no, because I had an idea, but it won't work. Okay. I'll
Okay. The persuasion was you saying, yes, it will work for you if you tell us. That's...
Okay.
Yeah. That was at least in my head.
Oh, 17. That's a 24.
Wow. Alright, don't know how long it'll be until I have an opportunity like this again. Yeah, I work with the clan just 50 miles north around the ridge. The city there. The Bountons. I work with the family and was hoping to cause a bit of turmoil here.
This got to do with the takeover they tried to engineer a few years ago.
You heard about that? You do your research.
That's right.
I respect it. Yes, it has something to do with the takeover a few years ago. Last time the mine showed too much prosperity, it was easy for them to reject it. But when things aren't going so well, it's easier to be persuaded. We figure we just cause a bit of mischief on top of what's already happening. People turn away, and we make off with a deal.
Makes sense to me. So, the employers have nothing to do with the current shutdown?
Just a happy accident.
Any ideas what that might be? Might be causing this?
Maybe a disgruntled worker?
You mean
There
the
is
same
no
cause
shortage
that you're
of those.
pretending?
Sorry, when
Sorry,
you both
Carl.
talk at the same time, it's
Yeah.
so hard to hear your lovely voices.
I just said so the same cause that you're pretending to serve.
To say I'm pretending is a bit of a stretch. I have these workers' best interest in mind. I can see the writing on the walls. They're not happy. Change in management, it livens things up.
But would it be better for them?
That's the hope.
Anyway, Crowley, you were saying.
There's no shortage of disgruntled workers.
Exactly.
Coincidence it might be, but it's a reasonable one.
So,
This
do we have a
gift
deal?
you want us to deliver.
Yes?
How dangerous is transporting it?
It shouldn't be dangerous at all. It needs a bit of activation in order to start. It's not going to just knock around in your bag and boom.
I understand.
I'm very curious whether I have a sense, both for his explanation, who's behind all of this, who are, where the money's coming from, and this kind of explanation of how dangerous this present is, whether he's being genuine or not.
You want to roll an insight check?
I would love to.
All right.
Maybe better. 13.
Yeah, you're suspicious. You are kind of in some inner turmoil here. You are not sure, though. He seems like he's being pretty forthcoming at this point.
You say, Crowley, I want to add a little bit of money to our earnings.
And money's always good. Is there anything else you're after?
Well, you originally came here for a certain kind of gem, something for magic. What's it called again? Can't remember.
Heart of Ernu.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
That sounds about right.
that's that can be part of it as well. Seems only fair.
You think that would be easy enough to procure once the mine is reopened?
I'm sure we could work something out.
We get everything we want and a lot of gold on top. Can't see a reason not to.
How big is this present?
It'll fit in your bag. And he goes over to the closet and opens it up and pulls out just like it's really just like a small box about this size. And puts it down on the table and goes over to the box and takes off the lid of it. And inside you see just this small gem. And that seems to be all that it is a gem. And he says to you, all you need to do is place this where you think is a good spot to place it. In a wall, some support beams of sort, if you see anywhere, something that'll cause damage. Place it in there, and once you... and he like kind of puts it up close to you. Once you rub your hand along these inscriptions here, you've got an hour. Should be plenty of time for you to get out.
Thing occurring to me here. Why do you need us if it's that easy to use? Why do you need some random people walking into town to do this? Why not get one of the disgruntled workers to?
Because you're leaving? You don't plan on staying here? Hmm?
I don't find that terribly convincing.
Look, if you're convinced, you're convinced. But I've gone this far. You seemed like good people to do it. You seem like I could trust you with it. And you don't have any connections here. So if you change your mind and rat me out, well, it's my word against yours. But if it's a local who's been here for 40 years, well, it's a little bit harder. They put me to the stake, and I get nothing that I want besides a nice axe through the neck.
See, there you go. Now we're talking reasons that I get, that I can comprehend. Right. Crowley, what do we think? Cor was really dead set against this.
If we think it's a good idea, I'm certain we could win him over. Couldn't hurt to try.
So what's the deal with the money? We get half of it now, and then we deliver this thing, we get the other half later.
You get 1,000 now. Rest later.
1,500?
Persuasion check.
21.
Sure. 1,500 now. But keep in mind, if you pull out of the deal, I will be coming to collect that. And I won't be alone.
I know all about that kind of business. Sure. Hand it over.
And he pushes the box to you, and he heads over to the chest, once again unlocks it, counts out the stacks real quickly, places it into a pouch, and hands it over to you. They're preformed stacks, so it's like counting poker chips at Vegas, you know?
Some good heft to it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll be seeing your chisel. Don't do anything funny.
I hope you do something funny.
You'll be hearing about it. No, I doubt it will.
All right. One more thing. All right. So, Cortel and Dane, the two of you, walk your way down the streets and find your way to where Dursel was the night before. And as she sees the two of you approaching, she has this look of just exasperation on her face. She looks like she has not slept the entire night, and just goes, "Oh, okay, you're here. That's probably for the best."
We'll be heading in.
Actually, before we would even get to
Oh.
Dursel,
I'm sorry.
I want to talk to Dane.
Oh.
Dane, how should we handle this? Should we just go in? Because I'm very curious about this rival clan from over yonder. That what's the situation there? I mean, are they still rivals? Are they still after the mine? Do they give up? What's going on with this particular takeover that happened a while ago? How do you think we should handle this? Just play things, just be direct and ask about the information and just have her bullshit us, or just try to kind of coax it out of her and try to allay those suspicions.
It might be best just to be straightforward with her. She seems to appreciate that, especially in a time of stress. Trying to coax it out of her may just upset her and put us in a more precarious situation, perhaps socially with her, perhaps worse if the council does heed her at times. So I am more to asking her to just straight tell us what she knows, what the deal is, and move on from there.
I think that's a great plan. Do you know anything about the dwarven clans of the area, or just kind of the what's going on with that?
What I know?
I can have you roll a history check if you want. It seems like you're not particularly from around here.
It's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. Yeah, so while this might not be your particular area, you understand that whereas the lower regions of the Ernu Mountains, which are like the mountains that kind of run throughout most of the center of Piran, the lower regions that you would probably be from, at least natively, are more focused around minting coins and mining things like copper, silver, gold, platinum, and things are very well established there. There's a lot of law and order to it, whereas up here, it's a little bit more cutthroat. And mines spring up and burn out in the course of, we'll say, lifetimes. It's not in the sense that it's like every 5 years or something that they're just getting worn out, but it definitely is a difficult place to thrive. And this mine has been here for quite a long time. The Glymrock mines. Any other mines around, you wouldn't really know them by name, but this would be a very sought after place to be.
Gotcha. Hey, I mean, this is a pretty dang good spot to have a mine. A lot of good things to be had in there. I don't have any surprise that a family would be after it so harshly. Trying to do anything they can to get their hands on it.
Well, I think that should be our first course of action, or at least our first line of questioning is about who's after the mine, and also who the hell is Dorsal working for?
Fair.
We need to find out the whole structure. If we are interested in making some kind of change to benefit the workers, which I'm all for, we need to find out what the current status quo is, and because there's obviously a person or a group of people out there that's really wanting to throw a spanner in the works and completely upend the cart. So we need to find out what the status quo is and how the status quo can be improved, maybe.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we can talk to Dorsal.
All right, and as you approach, she goes, sorry, I thought you guys were coming right here, but then you just turned right back around. That was so weird. But
we had some things to talk about.
That's perfectly fine. But again, I'm glad you're here. Things did not get better overnight. My crew has not returned, and I think I'm willing to take you up on that offer now.
Very well.
That sounds like a great. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Could you tell me about your crew? Who are we looking for?
Well, if you find the crew, that would be fantastic, and I would definitely be happy to pay I guess a bonus on top of your original ask. But if you could really just find out what's happening and put a stop to it, that's priority number one. The group who went down, they knew what they were getting into. But if you find them, it's a group of about 5 dwarves, and I mean, they should be the only ones in the mine, so it should be pretty easy to find.
What was their squad leader's name?
Good question. I've got that answer somewhere. Ah, yes. Gwyn Fettelrock.
Gwyn Ferrorock.
Fettelrock.
Fettelrock, sorry. It's all these accents, I'm not familiar. Even though I'm fluent in Dwarvish, I still speak it with a hell of an accent.
Oh, you speak quite well for for having such an accent. It's weird. It's almost like ours sound kind of similar. Like not directly, but
you grew up in a similar area.
Oh, you're from the mountains.
Yeah.
Is totally unimportant. And again, like specific to my world lore, but it's even funnier to me because I run wood elves as if they're Spanish. So like it's just like
Well, I'm a high elf.
they're Italian, so all already accounted for. Not again, I didn't tell you that before because it doesn't matter, but it's just funny to me. I can't either. It's more like when I use names for like items and such, I'll be like, let me put these Italian words and smush them together and rearrange some letters and from Bellini. There we go. Like
it works.
Yeah.
All right. Point. You have some more specific questions than I probably do, Dave.
Is the family still after the mine? Do you think they have anything to do with this?
You've been quite busy in the past couple hours. Thought you all went to get some rest.
I did.
You do look better.
By talking to people.
I didn't get that impression.
Most don't.
Family still after the mine. I mean, which family, which mine? This mine, of course, but probably, yes.
Right.
I haven't heard anything recent, but I definitely have my suspicions that they might be behind this. But it seems as though people are always after me, Lucky Mine.
You might call it a charm.
Sorry.
Okay, I just wasn't ready.
I'm reminded of something that happened years ago. I had an enchanter who had the gear spec, and once inflicted a punishment on someone so that they couldn't make puns for exactly this reason.
Oh my god. 10d10 psychic damage every pun.
Worth it.
There was a lot of very abruptly stopped sentences.
Right.
Great.
That's really funny.
Just in the middle of a fight, just like get hit by a fire, like a breath from a dragon. I'm like, all right, I know what I have to do.
Yeah. Oh man. But yes, it does seem as though people are frequently. It's a powerful place to have control of.
When you say control, no offense, but you strike me as more of a foreman. As far as in the rank and power structure here, you do have a lot of power, but you don't seem to be the high decision maker. You're under way too much stress.
Things have gotten significantly more stressful in the past couple of days. I'd say this is not normal operations.
May I be so bold as to ask this very almost impertinent question? I'm going to ask it anyway, because even though it's impertinent. The impertinent question that I have is, who bankrolls you?
We mostly fund ourselves, but the council owns a solid portion of the mine.
When you say a solid portion, are we talking like half? Are we talking like a quarter? Are we talking like 2/3? I mean, what is your stake and what is their stake?
They own all of it, actually. It's town owned and operated, but it's me who's put in charge and make sure things move along smoothly.
Because when we went to the tavern, there was a lot of grumbling about that we heard in corners and things about the conditions, and unfortunately, conditions do fall on your feet. As far as workers, and I know I'm way out of line here, being an outsider and being an elf, coming in and telling a dwarf how to do her job, and please forgive me, but the amount of grumbling that I've heard is loud, and it is constant, and you would think that going through that mine being owned by the town would have more of a care of and a consistent, better relations with the people that have to go down into the pits.
I'm gonna say, because of you being an outsider and asking this, roll a persuasion check
I'm expecting to get this an answer. So.
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Is there any way I can aid?
I'm gonna say no, just because it's already been asked, and
That's fine.
yeah. Let's see how this goes. It's not that it's gonna just shut down the conversation.
Oh, I rolled a natural 19 and a natural 18, so I total out with a 22.
I've hit people for less, but you came here trying to help. You gave me some wine yesterday. You're obviously coming with the best intentions.
Oh, I know I was an asshole there, but sometimes an asshole gets the job done.
Yeah, well, you were a kinder asshole than I've dealt with in the past. Yes, well, the potential for profit is quite high. There's been a lot of stress and pressure to find bigger and better things from the council. I'm not entirely sure as to what their reasons are, but there has been quite a bit of demand for expansion of the mine in the past year, and keeping up with their demands has been quite difficult. It's probably caused me to push the workers a little harder than I'd like to, hire a few more and pay a little less than I'd like to, but these are the conditions we have right now, and I'll say I don't have much in the way to change it overnight. But my hope is that once we find a good source of Glymrock, then we'll be in a better spot.
You look like you have something to say, Dane.
Did the problems arise about the same time you started expanding?
Yeah, they did.
All I needed to know.
Well, we're still going in. We're going to try to find your men, even if we find their remains. That at least their families will have the benefit of knowing that they'll have someone to put in the ground.
Let's hope it doesn't come with that.
Find out whatever is happening down there.
And that's the main goal. So we can get this mine open again and functioning again. So let's go find our compatriots and remember, as stressed as you can, there are some times that you have to tell an asshole they're an asshole.
You're an asshole.
Fair. I've earned it. But remember, it's okay to tell your bosses that they're assholes too.
I'll keep that in mind.
I'm going back to the inn.
Yeah, I'll say that with time you guys meet up once again. Okay, so you all meet back up after gathering your various information. Were you trying to meet at the inn? I don't think like a meeting point was established.
I think the inn is most convenient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you all get back into your rooms, having gathered, again, various pieces of info. Crowley and Tomarok are already there, and I guess what do you see your friends come into the room after you've been kind of like looking over this 1,500 gold, kind of marveling at the massive money that it is and can be, and they come into the room.
Welcome back. We have news.
Yes, it looks like.
How about you?
Well, we found out a little more about the general structure of the mine and the operations therein.
They probably disturbed something's nest inadvertently.
Dug too far, dug too deep.
Yeah. You get your hand slapped.
Or worse.
Eaten, maybe.
Explain.
No, just a gut feeling. They ain't all good beasties here in the mountains. Some of them are going to be a bit bigger than dwarves.
And elves. And even half orcs.
So we'll keep an eye out when we go in there. Just be on guard.
Okay. So
Now,
I
when we-
take it the group did not come back out of the mine.
No. We're looking for either 5 dwarves in there or the remains of 5 dwarves. And we just told them that that if we find them in either state, we'll do our best to try to bring them home.
Well, we made a little deal. By the way, Core, you were right. At least on one aspect here. People bankrolling Chisel, the other mine, or the other dwarven clan.
Boutons.
The Boutons.
Yep. So, a few years ago, buying the mine didn't work. According to Chisel, the shutdown was a happy coincidence, so they figured cause an additional amount of unrest and maybe force a takeover.
Well, it seems to me that it's an interesting prospect because the mine here, according to Dorsal, is owned by the whole town, or at least the town council. So, it almost seems that the Spoten clan wouldn't just have to buy the mine, they'd have to buy the whole town and lock, stock, and barrel. And, maybe, they're forcing an abandonment.
Is that what Dorsal said?
No, that's just me putting one and one together and getting 3.
I was thinking, if you're looking to buy mines, if whatever Chisel has given you is going to cause damage to it, seems a little backwards, but if it gets people to leave the area and it's all theirs, it would make sense.
Yeah. According to my source in town, Ursula is sort of running her own show a little bit, or at least is a bit more independent of town council than maybe she would like to have us believe. But
It seems like they've given her a long leash.
right. Makes sense though, you know. Or if you can buy the mine, you basically have this town in your pocket anyway.
And if you could buy the mine for either cheap or get everybody to run out of the mine area because it's either dried up or suddenly inaccessible, then you can come in and restart it.
Well, what we have here is 1,500 gold pieces, and this and I opened the box with the stone inside, and this here contraption that I can't make much sense of, but apparently it's very easy to use.
Let me have a look.
Hand it over.
Okay.
It said
You
to
said
just
Okay.
run your finger over these inscriptions, and then you have an hour to get out of the way.
it's like a stone. You said, right?
It is, yes. It's a gem specifically. It has like a
Gotcha.
faint glimmer to it.
Could I use either my jeweler's tools, mason's tools, or just like detect magic or identify to figure out what it is exactly?
Let's start with we'll have you roll a what would it be? I want to say wisdom with proficiency, basically a jeweler's tool check,
Okay.
to see if you kind of like know any history about what this thing is.
Sure. Okay, that is a 27.
Wow. Okay. Yes, you definitely know what this is, but you're not familiar with the inscription aspect. This is a sun gem, something that is basically like a diamond that emits light. It is generally found in the deserts that are out to the east, not mined in any dwarven mines. As far as you know, though, they are used for the rich, and they just basically use them to light their homes, and they're kind of a gaudy thing that people might put in their jewelry. From your knowledge and history, these don't have any magical properties to them.
All right. Is there any way I could decipher the runes?
If you can roll me an Arcana check.
Yeah. That is a 23.
Look at the big rolls on Dane.
She's in both of those.
All right, I like it. Yeah, looking at the runes, they are a little unfamiliar to you, and the only thing that you can make out information-wise are that this is in Vasul, which is like the High Elf language. They're like runic symbols.
Oh, what does it say?
And it is more or less like inscriptions. Sorry.
That's magic.
Yeah. But inscriptions that lend itself towards explosive magic. So this is definitely something that is set to boom, just as was told to you.
Okay.
And from your knowledge of not knowing anything about this and feeling like you should know something about it, you get the feeling this in your hands is pretty invaluable in itself.
Well, they basically took some flint and tinder and made it into an explosive. Very fancy gold flaked flint and tinder, but it's an unusual thing to do. And this ain't from around these parts. You only get this stuff out in the desert, and only the rich are gonna be able to afford something like this.
And then the rich, and then the even more rich, are the only ones that would be able to afford to turn this into some kind of explosive device.
They would have to have an arcanist of some sort, for sure.
Indeed.
Certainly easy enough to use for any fool to do this.
Agreed.
Wait.
And here you are, for certain fools.
Look, I figure we don't have to do this. We don't have to follow through with this. I wanted to, on the one hand, get that thing out of the hands of this chisel before he sends another fool down there. And honestly, if they want to spring a trap on us and say, oh, they were trying to, do something about the town, and try and get the town council against us, we can just as easily argue that we were trying to prevent this thing from happening and safekeeping this.
Sounds good to me.
As Chisel said, when I asked him why on earth he was trusting us with this,
That's because we are expendable.
we're expendable, but he's also not from. He clearly does not think of himself as somebody who has a lot of clout here. Because his whole argument was he couldn't use somebody from here to do this job, because then there would be somebody with, standing in the community to speak against him. I don't think he has that kind of standing.
Well, are we going to take it in with us? It might be the best way to handle whatever's down there in case they did dig too deep.
I'm fine with it as an emergency. And
Lobbing a bomb at the big wicked thing might be just the trick.
And worst comes to worst, I can disable it in there potentially. Politics I'm working around, but if need be, it's an option.
Aye. Let's go in then. Before we go in, before we actually go into the dark of the mines, I do want to offer the eye drops once more.
Sounds like an idea.
So, use the old
Izine is what you called it last time.
Izine,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, it lasts an hour?
It lasts an
It
hour,
lasts
yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
Let's do it closer to when we really need to go into.
Well, no, we're not going to do it here. Or at least we're going to do it,
Okay.
once we get into the mines and maybe away from the light a little bit.
Yeah. No, good idea. Very good idea.
That way. And let's see. There's something else. Oh, there we go. Tolmec. Tolmec. Here you go. This is something that I haven't tried yet, but here's a poultice that I've made. I want you to give it a good whiff. It'll kind of open up your passages. It'll open up your eyes a little bit. It may make things move a little quicker for you. And I'm going to give Tolmec Vigilant Blessing.
So that does what again? Advantage on initiative?
The advantage on the next initiative roll.
Nice.
All for one level into cleric. Sophia was feeling generous.
That's why I have expertise in Arcana.
Yeah.
History.
That's right. Right into the sinuses.
Yep. Yeah, and as you do, you inhale it. You just feel like you say alert. Everything seems to slow down around you, not to the point that it's extremely off-putting, but enough so that you just feel like you're at the top of your game. If somebody were to come out behind you and try and stab you, you'd already be behind them. Switcheroo. All right. Anything else you guys would like to do before heading towards the mines?
Just gear up.
Armor on, shield ready, short sword sheathed.
Yeah.
Poultices. I will do I will go ahead and before we leave do the Shooby-Doo, where is it? The experimental elixir. I will make one of those.
Okay, so the first one's random.
First one's random.
If you want to roll for that now,
Okay.
just so you know what it is.
It says roll it when you drink it.
Oh, I hate that. Do you want to roll it now?
I'll roll it now.
Okay. Such a bad class. I'll throw you a bone.
All right. It is. Whoever drinks this potion will gain a flying speed of 10 for the 10 minutes.
There you go. See, now you know you have this tool instead of weirdly just being like, oh, I really hope we get flying right now.
Just drink it as you're jumping off a cliff. Nope.
Transformation! It's wings!
Oh, man.
It's a potion of wonder. It's a potion of wonder. That's bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the weak part of the alchemist. It really is.
It's the only thing of the alchemist, which is why it's such a bad subclass. But that's not for right now. Go check out Monsters and Multiclass for more rants about the Artificer. The Artificer's great. I really like the other three, but Alchemist. Oh, what was going on?
they really borked it on the experimental.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But
Shame.
everything else I'm digging.
Yes. No, the infusions as well. I think they're cool. Anyways, so back to it. You all head out onto the busy streets as it is early in the day, and there's quite a bustle of activity. And everybody is kind of giving you looks. When you first came in, it was late, not a lot of people out, but seeing 3 of you who tower above everybody else, and a dwarf that they obviously recognize is not from around here, is just enough to draw eyes. But they see you heading towards the mines, and you can tell there's almost a bit of a buzz that has circulated around the town already of the 4 adventurers who stumbled into town and are claiming to solve the problem that they're all facing. And as you get to where you've spoken with Dursel a couple of times, she sees the 4 of you and goes, the whole crew's fucking here. Well,
It's a very good morning to you too.
that's how we say good morning here, so.
Well, it's nice fucking to see you.
See, now you've got the accent down. Can't distinguish it from my own. Then, if you'd like to take you on up on these mine carts here, and this one will send you down in. I give you the advice to keep an eye out for anything odd as you go down, but for the most part, I'd expect the group to be at the lower portions of the mines. So every 100 feet or so, you'll see some numbers up on the ceiling. I recommend once you see it, react quickly. Once you press stop, it'll turn over into the side rails, but otherwise you might miss your stop, and then you gotta come all the way back up, and it'll be quite embarrassing.
Just a quick question though before we start, and I think you probably was gonna have to ask the same question there, Tolmac. What floor number are we looking for?
You probably want to stop around 35.
And how many floors are there?
35.
Well, then that would be just the end of the line, then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you probably don't want to hit the end of the line without stopping.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah. It's
Right.
not the safest thing we've got going on, but we value expanding and then installing safety features.
We've already had this conversation before, and maybe there should be a bit of a rethink. Like harnesses in the mine carts, or at least grippy bars.
You want to be strapped to those things when they fall off the rails?
Well,
They fall off the rails?
Not normally.
Okay.
Oh.
Can we just get this over?
It'll be over before you know it. Don't worry.
Might be a poor choice of words.
That's not good, guys. That's not good.
All right, so I'll go with Tolmac this time.
Leaves you and me, Crowley.
Just give me a
All
second,
right.
man.
All right,
Just
You
'cause
ready?
we're about to. I'll let you do your thing first.
I was just waiting for Tolmac. Tolmac, you ready?
Sure. This time I crunched and I have to shield. As well.
I'm like,
Putting your hands up. Oh, that's great, right? And once again, the rune carts go flying, taking off down the tracks. The homes and people nearby begin to look like blurs. They're quickly lost as you enter into a tunnel and feel your stomach rise up to your throat. Roll Constitution saving throws.
I hate roller coasters in real life. What are you doing to me?
I'm so sorry.
that would be a 9 for me, Jared.
Okay.
I puke.
13.
13. Okay. And the two of you behind as well, unless you two weren't hopping in or getting off yet. Okay.
Absolutely. Dane has no fear of this.
Okay.
11.
And because of the effect, I think, Dane, you actually have advantage on this, because I'm going to give the poison condition if you fail.
Sure. 11.
Ouch. Okay, Crowley.
My fancy sorceress constitution managed to reward me with a grand total of 8.
Oh my gosh.
I feel that I chose this to have proficiency in con saves.
So you all just not immediately, sorry, you go for a little bit, and a couple of you are like having fun to start, but then it gets twisty, and it gets just very bumpy, and you just feel as your stomach rises up, and whether or not you puke, I'll leave that up to your characters, but you do definitely feel sick while going down this, and it's gonna take a little bit of time to clear this away. I'll say for the next hour, you are considered poisoned as your stomach feels queasy. I know I come in with the damaging abilities because I guess I can.
That was less fun than the time before.
Despite
a lot less fun.
And you're still going for what it's worth. And despite the simple instructions, every turn you take makes you feel like you're about to go flying off the rails. And you get the feeling that if you don't lean into the turns, you may very well flip. You don't know if it will. You're not sure, but it feels like it. Numbers pass by overhead, and at each one of the numbers, there is a split in the rail heading into a different tunnel that you can't see far down aside from a quick torchlight at the end. I assume everybody took the drops? I know we were saying beforehand. Not yet? Okay, that's fine.
Because we were going to get into the mines before we did the drops.
Okay, then my description stands.
But we've got me with 300 feet.
I know what you guys have.
And 120 feet in the other card.
Yeah.
So,
I know. I'm not trying to spring anything on you in that way. But what you do see as you're just starting to get your bearings again, still feeling woozy, but up ahead on your current track, there is a giant pile of rocks and dirt that closes off this railway.
This is the emergency brake hit.
Okay. As in the emergency button, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming that we are between floors and there is no curl off for the railing.
Correct. There is none at this moment.
The big red button.
Okay, you hit the big red button, and the cart behind, you see as in front of you, the minecart.
Shout out, big red button!
The minecart comes to a complete halt, and then you just see as the sides of it raise up, and a metallic dome forms overhead, and the just completely locks in. It stops on the rails. Do you also press the big red button?
I look. I wait. It's your call.
You don't have much time to decide.
Yes, but man, do I want to say no. But I will say yes. We'll press the button.
Okay. You two come to a complete halt as you feel the cart close in on you, and you have very little space to move, but it just comes to a complete halt. And then that's it. It seems to be slowed down. But you look around and... No, you don't hit each other. You press it in time, but you look... It's closed off. You don't see an exit.
I will see if the button has a pull, like a reset pull.
Nope.
Oh, this is inconvenient. I will feel around for a keyhole and take out my and I will take out my jeweler's tools and use them as kind of like thieves' tools.
Okay.
And see if I can find a lock or a safety latch to open up so we can get the hood open.
Do you have tinkerer's tools by chance? I feel like...
Actually...
I do.
Oh, you do? Well, okay, let's see. You don't?
I have alchemist tools and jeweler's tools.
Okay.
I have carpenter's tools, cook's utensils, forgery kit, glassbearer's tools,
I've got
tools, masons, painters,
oh my gosh!
You cooled up, my man. I have proficiency in tinkerer's tools, but I did not buy a set of tinkerer's tools.
Okay. Well, I will say jeweler's tools, like, I don't want to be that guy. That's like super not what they're for. They're very tiny, but I don't know if they're going to work as lockpicks.
I will take a disad on that roll.
Okay, let's go with that, and we'll deal with you first because you asked first. So go ahead and roll, and this is more to find something in the first place. Like you're kind of like poking around with your tools in the dark here, and you at least have dark vision so you can see. Yes.
As long as you can see.
Yes.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, 10 for blind vision. Blind sight.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. So I'm going to try to roll an investigation first, so I can find it, or am I just kind of poking around?
Yeah, it's more of like how well you can use your jeweler's tools to poke around and hopefully find something that might work.
Gotcha. So is this a dex-based or an int-based roll?
Good question. I feel like int-based would make the most sense.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Sounds good. So I will have +6 to this roll,
Okay.
and I'm rolling a disad.
All right.
And I roll at disad a total of 10.
Okay. So you poke around for a little bit, and you're starting to feel a little bit nervous because you're like, I don't see a way out of this. And like a voice in the back of your head, Heron, from when you first came in, you remember him saying, if you press that, you're going to cause a traffic jam, and the only person who can undo it is the mine operator. Dane!
Well, this is quite inconvenient.
I'm gonna start off and be like, all right, and I'm gonna take a deep breath in and cast Lesser Restoration on myself to get rid of the poisoned.
Good idea.
And then, goodness gracious, which I have Tinker's tools. Can I use those to figure something out here?
Yeah, I'll give you Tinker's tools.
Okay.
Um,
And use an int.
Yeah, let's still go with int.
That is a 29.
Oh!
Damn.
My goodness!
Bravo.
DC was 26.
I have +10 to tool use with intellect.
Oh my goodness!
All right, so you poke around for a little bit, and you find underneath the button that there is actually like a mechanism that you're like, oh, this is child's play. And poke around with it for a little bit, and find a little lever, hit your microphone, and
Sound effect.
yeah, and you hear a satisfying pop as the dome overhead, the metallic dome that has formed, just begins to shunk, 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 and you are now in just the darkness of the cavern when you hear a loud grumble from down the mine shaft. The rocks begin to shake and burst forward as you see a beast with a front shovel head and these beady black eyes let out this incredulous roar. And you see your friends stuck in a tiny little minecart, and in front of you is a bullet. And then from behind it, you see another bullet. And we're going to go ahead and end there.